Monday, November 25th edition of the Carolina Weather Video, and today's edition is going to focus entirely on our incoming storm system. We have a very cold air mass in place. Yesterday, 39, the best we could do for high in Greensboro. It was 42 for high in Charlotte, 43 in Raleigh, and it is bitterly cold out there this morning. Greensboro 23, Raleigh 20, Charlotte 25. Numerous sites all across the Piedmont have dipped down into the teens this morning. And many mountain spots are down into the teens this morning as well. It's just a very cold late November morning underway across the entire region. Now, on the radar this morning, the sky is clear in most of the region now, but as we get deeper into the day, we're going to see these high-level clouds begin to spill on in from the west, so probably a milky sunshine type of deal as we get deeper into the day. And then here's the precipitation with our incoming storm system breaking out pretty nicely across parts of Louisiana, spreading into Mississippi, and then you get into Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and in some areas you have some wintry precipitation involved. And as of 5:30 Eastern time this morning, those are the watches, warnings, and advisories in effect. A lot of Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas and winter weather advisories, and that's a winter storm warning in a portion of southwestern Arkansas to southeastern Oklahoma in northeastern Texas. Now we have a very cold and very, very dry air mass in place all across the eastern parts of the country, and that dry air is going to be playing a role in the weather as we get on into tonight and tomorrow morning. So here's the basic idea. Now, to get a big ice storm or a big, huge winter weather event in cold air damming fashion, you want that high pressure to be right about there, and you want it to stay locked in the northeast and keep a constant supply of cold air funneling down into the Carolinas. That is not what is going to happen with this event. You notice that high pressure that will be sliding out rapidly into the Atlantic, and so there's no fresh source of cold air to supply this system. But having said that, with the cold, dry air in place, we're going to see some evaporational cooling take place. And so as this precipitation moves in tonight, probably a period of, first of all, initially some sleet as that evaporation process takes place, but then at least a brief period of some freezing rain. Let me draw that better, in this region right about there. A brief period at least of some freezing rain late tonight into tomorrow morning. But the temperatures 3,000 and 4,000 feet off the ground get up to between 4 and 8 degrees Celsius very quickly tomorrow. So it's going to be a self-limiting event in terms of ice. Very quickly, most spots will kick over to rain, and a lot of it. This is going to be a soaking, very chilly rain event as we go through tomorrow into tomorrow night, and then the event tapers off by Wednesday, and we could have a brief little hit of some snow in some areas Wednesday. Now, let me talk about the rain first. This is the GFS rain projection, over 2 inches, even 3 in some spots. European, very similar. So this is a big soaking rain event for most in the region. Now, let me show you what the RPM model is printing out for ice potential. That is what it looks like with the ice. And this is a freezing rain accumulation graphic. And let me expand the view to the southwest, and you can see there's some ice potential even down into parts of North Georgia. This is the basic idea that I'm kind of going with on the air. And anybody down to the I-85 corridor is fair game to see a minor glazing on some elevated surfaces briefly tomorrow morning. But as you get back toward the foothills, and even places like Winston-Salem and down toward Moxville and Statesville, that's when you could get maybe 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulation, again, very briefly tomorrow morning. And then as you get deeper into the foothills and the mountains, that's when you could see maybe 2/10 of an inch of ice. Places like Wilkes County, westernmost Surry County, and then into some of the colder protected areas in the mountains and the foothills. Now this is going to be one of those situations where it doesn't last long, but it's going to hit right around daybreak tomorrow. So there could be some issues on some elevated surfaces for the commute tomorrow morning. I don't think that this is not an ice storm by any means, but again, enough to maybe cause a few travel difficulties, especially the farther north and west you go in the Piedmont and the foothill zones early tomorrow morning. And then the snow. Not a lot, but maybe a few snowflakes, a burst of snow or two as the system pulls away Wednesday. Let me get into some of the more detailed modeling. Here's what's causing all this incoming piece of an earlier trough moving off to the east. This is this afternoon of the European model, and then here we go by early Tuesday evening, you begin to see a phasing of those two pieces of energy. And that phasing process is well underway by Wednesday, and that will draw an area of low pressure from along the northern Gulf Coast and attract something, well, didn't really draw that well, but something like that there, give or take. Now, again, as that precipitation initially moves in, this is the regional Canadian model, and it does a nice job of picking up on that period of freezing rain due to that in situ cold air damming configuration. But again, it is going to be a self-limiting process due to warmer temperatures aloft and no fresh supply of cold air. We kick over to rain and a lot of it, and then maybe that brief period of snow on Wednesday. That's the Canadian. Here's the European solution, and the models are in a pretty good agreement now, as you might expect this close to the event. Precipitation arrives tonight, and again initially some sleet in some spots as the evaporation process takes hold. But again, by tomorrow, this is going to be a big rain event. This is a Tuesday evening, and then here we go overnight Tuesday night into Wednesday. That low pressure moving right through the Carolinas up into the northeastern parts of the country. And then there's that rush of cold air behind it. GFS, this is the 0Z run. It's similar now. There's 42 hours, and there we are tomorrow evening. Looks very similar to the European now. And further to the north it goes from there. And I didn't really stick many charts in there for that, but Thanksgiving's going to be cold and dry. Black Friday, cold and dry. Plenty of cold air following this system. We're probably looking at 20s for highs, 20s for lows rather. Thanksgiving morning and Friday morning, maybe some teens involved in some spots Thanksgiving morning, and at best 40s for highs Thursday and Friday with gradual warming into the weekend. All right, so that is it in terms of my thinking for now. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.